Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. So guys, it is Monday morning. I've got a sniffly nose again. Just don't seem to be able to shift this cold that I've got. But it is absolutely freezing in the workshop. So I'm going to get both heaters going today. The wood burner and my gas Sealy heater as well. To keep up, get the warmth up in the workshop because it is cold. Anyway. Right, we are going to be working on the Citroen Berlingo today. We're going to be doing the timing belt, the water pump, the service, and then we're going to try and get that front end repaired. Now, we've had a little bit of a progress on that van. I spoke to the body shop and he come out Saturday with all these little poles and sticks and all sorts of measuring devices. As well as the actual, the measurements that he got downloaded off his system. And he's checked that van. And I'll let you know, in a minute when we go over there, what happened with that. And, yeah, what we need to do. So, let's get cracking. Let's do this. Right. Guys, just before I'd explain exactly what's going on with this, because like I said, the body shop guy come out and he started doing all these measurements. Before I get into this one, I've just got to show you what's happened with the Cougar, the black ST line Cougar. I had a guy come out to me on Saturday and he managed to clear the airbag light that was in the module. And it was stored. I've got to be honest, it took him a while as well. But no more airbag light. It's completely cleared. He's done the whole system. All we've got to do is pump up the tyres, sort out the pressure on the tyre monitor system there. MOT, clean, inside and out. And then this one is completely done. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly show you that the airbag light is now disappeared. Just that check tyre pressures. These Fords, and I suffer with these check pressure oil sensors on their wheels. They're constantly going off on every single car that I've done. And everyone seems to moan about them. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. We'll get the MOT done possibly tomorrow now. And we can just crack on with the Citroen Berlingo. So let's get out. Let's go back in. God, it is cold. It looks like it's going to snow. It honestly looks like it's going to snow. Anyway, get a bit of heat in here. So let me explain what happened Saturday. I asked the body shop guy. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I paid him to do this. I said to him, look, I don't expect you to do it for nothing. Come over, have a quick look at this for me, and then I'll sort you out whatever you want for doing it. And so he did. So he come over, and he bought a load of sticks with him, a load of measuring devices, and he basically took measurements from certain points up where the windscreen is, and come across with sticks, come down both sides, angles, straights. He spent a little bit of time on it. I've got to be honest, about an hour, going all over it, checking bits and pieces of stuff. And basically, what he's come to work out is that that leg is exactly where it should be. That leg. Now, if he said to me, if I didn't have the sticks and all that sort of stuff, and I didn't have my measuring devices and my measurements and, all those kind of bits he had, if he didn't have that, he can physically see that it's straight, as well as other indications, he said. But I didn't, when I was looking at the van, I didn't really I didn't get it. But now it kind of makes sense. So we know the crash bar obviously was hitting that about there, and I thought that this leg was okay, and it is. Now, he said if this leg or the other leg had been moved, the wing moves. So basically what he's saying is because all that's connected, he said, and this is quite a, you know, it's a metal structural part of the front end. He said that if that leg moves that way or that way, you'll see it on the wing, because as it moves, it moves it all. So unless he said it was hit here and bent it, but because it was hit on the front, then there's, you know, you've got a better understanding of where, if it's moved or not. Now, he's done checks on all this wing on this side, and he said that has had no movement in it whatsoever. So that hasn't moved, that wing. That hasn't moved because of the measurements, but this side, he said, has. Now, we thought that because we saw down the crash bar, there was a gap, and it kind of looked like it moved over that way. And what makes sense is, you can see down this wing, it's got a bulge here. You see that? So what he's saying is, as this leg has been whacked over that way, it's pulled everything with it. So it's pulled that with it, and that's connected to the wing. So it kind of just pulls it with it. So he said, all you got to do is, like I said I was going to do, create a dead weight on this side with a forklift truck. Put a bit of timber in between that bar, that leg, and the forklift truck to stop any movement on this leg. Put your, he said, I showed him what I've got. He said, yeah, that's it. Put that in between. He said, and start pushing it back out. And then he said, use your crash bar as a reference to how far it needs to go. And he said, just keep checking to see if that wing moves back out. He said it should do. It should all go back into place. He said, but this side is the only side you need to move. He said, you don't need to move that side. He checked the lower bar. He checked these lowers as well in here. He checked those two. He said, they've not been moved. He said, even that one hasn't moved that way or anything. He said, that's exactly how it should be. He said, the top end has moved against this. That hasn't moved at the bottom. So, yeah, that's exactly what we thought. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. But yeah, it's just nice being told by someone that's does it every day. It's his trade. He knows what he's talking about. He's got all the measurement, tools, and he's got all the measurement sticks, and he had loads of bits and pieces with him. And he checked everything, and yeah, he said that side is fine. This side is the only side that's moved. So there we go. That kind of rules out, any sort of, anyone saying that it's wrong. It's moved up and down. It rules out all that because I've had him, the professional, telling me what I need to do, which is nice of him. It's decent of him because I could have took this van to him and his shop, and he could have charged me for that. More than what he charged me for coming to have a look at it himself. Do you know what I mean? So it's decent of him, but it's a business thing. It's like he knows that I'll always go to him for any body work that I need done with all my cars and vans and vehicles. And I do. He does all my vehicles now. Not the paint shop, because the paint shop is different to the body shop. They're two different shops. So, yeah, really nice guy for coming out and had a look anyway. Yeah, we can continue. So, that's enough waffling. Let's crack on. Let's get this timing belt done, water pump, service, and then we can start pushing that front end out with the crush bar in the right position. And then, we can move on and do what we can. So, let's do this, guys. Right, there we go, guys. So that is the old timing belt, water pump and tensioner and pulley as well. There's a pulley that goes on there, so that's been removed, but you can see I've pinned it, the top, that stays like that. This pump, is it fuel pump? It might be fuel pump. That's pinned as well, and you can see at the bottom there's a pin in the bottom pulley. So yeah, and I've cleaned up the area where the water pump sits onto, but this is definitely not the original belt. This has been changed before, and it's got the markings right there. Now this looks like it's called Gates, and I've actually got another Gates timing belt kit for this one, a new auxiliary belt as well, only because the supplier that I use didn't have a Daco, and he suggested using this. It's kind of the same money. There's about 6-7 quid difference in this. Is cheaper by about 6-7 quid than the Daco, but he said give it a go. You know, he said I've never had a problem with them. So but it's only because he's run out of the Dacos. He knows I like using Daco timing belt kits, but this has definitely been changed before. It's pretty new. You can see how new that looks. Normally, like all this is all sort of just, you know, all worn and stuff like that. Even the sort of tensioner, look how new that tensioner looks on the back. So yeah, but you know, it doesn't really matter about that because I haven't got any proof that it's been changed. Like if I had a service book and the service book was all stamped up every single year, and I had proof in the service book that this had been changed, then I wouldn't have done it. Because we know it's been done at a certain point and a certain amount of miles, we know it's done. But in this case, we just don't. So you have to assume that it hasn't been done, so and change it basically. So that is why I am doing it. Right. So now it's just a case of reverse of what I've just did. We'll stick the water pump on, stick the tensioner and the pulley and the idle pulley, and then new belt, and then we'll spin it over, make sure it's all good. You know, set the actual new. It does come pinned, but you still got to move it around. So it comes like this. It comes pinned, but you still got to move it using that bit there, and that point there has got to line up in the middle of that bit there. So yeah, even though it's like I said, it's pinned, but it's not actually tensioned with that pin. You got to physically do it yourself. So there we go. Right. So let's continue. Let's crack on and let's do the reverse. Get it all back in. Let's do this. So there we go. Wow, that didn't take too long at all, really. Yeah, as long as you rotate the engine, pull the pins out, all 3 pins, and then rotate the engine twice, 3 times, and then try the pins location again, which I have, and you can see all 3 pins obviously go in, and then that's it. You can pull the pins out. That's it. So that's the 3 pins out. And then, yeah, I always try and check sort of a few times or whatever, but, you know, you can just sort of rotate it a few times like I did. And then just keep checking, really, but... yeah. So I think we are good now to continue and putting this back together. I don't know if we're going to get outside today. Let me show you why. It is snowing, guys. So, yeah. Just started to snow, but it's cold. I knew it'd be cold enough to snow. It's absolutely freezing. So, yeah, let me just see what we can get done today on this. I don't know if we're going to be able to get out there. Hopefully, if it stops and dries up, then maybe we can get it set up. But that might be another day. But let me just, you know, get all this back together, get the engine mount back on, get the service done, fill it with oil, oil filter. Do the air filter, do that kind of thing, and put the engine back together so we can start it at least. Just see how far we get. It's a shame that it's snowing, but, you know, it's just one of them things. I think we're going to start getting, now we're in January, we're going to get some colder weather and sort of snow all over the UK. We've had some serious flooding as well over the UK. It's been absolutely crazy, and I feel sorry for people that are suffering with floods and stuff like that. But yeah, the weather is absolutely terrible at the minute. But let's keep going. I'm going to put this back together, do the service. Let's do this. So, guys, it is that moment where it's always a little bit dodgy because I've just done the timing belt and, you know, water pump and swapped all that over. And now I've got to turn the key. And trust me, this is the first time that I've done this. I've not checked it yet. So here we go. Let's have a check. absolute bang on. Lovely. Ticking over really, really nice. Cool, that's got a lot of pressure on that. So that's good. Right, well, there we go. Another one. We've got engine management light on for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because I've got everything unconnected, disconnected, unplugged. There's loads of bits and pieces that sort of yeah. So that's probably why the engine management light's on. But obviously we'll check that as and when we put all things back together. And then yeah, we can move on. But we can't move on to doing this here because yeah, it's still snowing outside and I'm not working in the rain, I'm not working in the snow, so we can do other bits and pieces for the moment. Obviously we can't fill up or do anything when it comes to the front end with the rads or the coolant or anything like that because we haven't shoved over that leg that way. But let's just, you know, carry on, do a few bits and pieces. Let's just do what we can for the moment, and then yeah, let's just see how far we get. So I'll set you up. Let's, because I want to sort out, look at this top wing as well. That needs to be pulled over a little bit, so we can have a look at that and get that pulled over a little bit and sort out. And what else can we do? I suppose we can put the wheels back on. We can put the I might leave out the splash guard, put the wheel back on, get it on the ground, get it ready for tomorrow, maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see how far we get today and what we can do. But let's keep going. Let's do this. Right. Okay. So, yeah, I just had a mess around with this. I've got to do a little bit of paintwork on that as well. Look. Basically, the bonnet hinges had obviously hinges have pushed this bracket over that way a little bit, and it weren't quite lining up with that. That one was sticking right out. But now, all lines up well. So, I think that's the right position of that. I'm not going to put that cap back on until we've got, you know, the front end sorted. We put the lights in, we put the bonnet on, and everything sort of lines up, and then I'll put the cap on. But I'm not taking, there's no point putting it on until, because I might have to move this out a little bit more. I don't know. This one, absolutely fine. It's that back one where the hinge, that sits on the hinges there. So it was those two really that was causing the problem. But yeah, I think that's all right now. I've put the wheel back on. I'm not going to do anything else to this until we've got this front end sorted out. And I can't do that until tomorrow. So that's going to be in tomorrow's video. We're going to take it outside. We're going to jump on that, get it straightened up, place it all up first, then get the rad pack in, and then, you know, just get it as far as we can tomorrow. So, yeah. But happy with what I've done so far. This is moving along very nicely, and that's it, guys. That's the end of today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. I'll see you soon.